Good morning, it's Bev at Planet Crochet. This morning I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful newborn cardigan. It looks, now I'm looking at it, it looks a little bit bigger than a newborn, but it'll last a bit longer, and also you can turn the cuffs back. Anyway, for this cardigan you will need one ball of 4-ply. You will need 3 hooks. I use clover hooks. You can get them off Amazon. You'll need 4.5, 4 and 3.5. The skirt is 4.5, the sleeves and the body is 4, and for the button band it is 3.5. Scissors, darning needle, stitch markers, and that's just my button with my name on. And then you will need 3 little buttons. I'm going to tweak it slightly than I did for this one, but you'll see that later on. But definitely 3 buttons of your choice. So depending on your colour, pick your buttons at the same time to go with your yarn. So let's get started. Now, on your 4.5mm hook, you want to chain 112 chains. Now pause the video, do that, and then come back. You want to miss 4 chains, and in the 5th chain you want 3 treble. Now I'm going to use UK terminology. In the US, a treble is a double crochet. That's 2, 4, 5. You want 3 treble crochet. All the way along this chain you will be doing these little groups of 3 trebles. Now you want to miss 4 chain, 2, 4, and in the 5th chain you want 3 treble. So now you've done your 3 treble, chain 1, miss 4 chain, in the 5th chain do another 3 treble. And you want to do this all the way along. Don't forget your chain 1, miss 4 chain, 3 treble in the 5th chain. It is fiddly, this first row. You get this little scalloped edge at the bottom. Don't forget your chain 1. You need to do that all the way along the chain, and you've got 2 stitches left. Sorry, 2 chains at the end. There you go. So it's 3 treble in the 5th chain, chain 1, miss 4 chain, in the 5th chain 3 treble, chain 1, all the way along till your last 2 stitches. Oh, I keep saying stitches. 2 chain, and I'll meet you there. I've gone all the way along. I've got 2 chain left. Last group of 3 trebles, and put 1 treble in the last chain. There were 2 chain, you miss 1 and put the treble in the last one. Chain 1, turn your work, sorry. So it's 1 double crochet, that's single crochet in the US. Then you put another double crochet in the next stitch, and in the middle of the 3 treble it's a picot. So it's 1 double crochet, chain 3, go back down to the same stitch and put another double crochet. If you're doing a, what if you like proper picot, you would be going into the first double crochet there, but it's kind of a loosey kind of picot. I like this way of doing it. On the last treble of the group of 3, double crochet. In the 1 chain space, double crochet. Then you're going to do the same as you've done on this group of 3 treble. 1 double crochet, middle treble, 1 double crochet, do the picot, 3 chain, come back down and 1 double crochet in the same stitch. Finish off the group of 3 with a double crochet, and then you will carry on doing what you've just done from there all the way along. Find the end of the work. I'll leave 1 group of treble left, so I'll meet you here on this last chain space and we'll finish off together. There you go, last group of 3 done. Don't forget your chain 1, putting a double crochet in, 1 double crochet in the middle treble. You want the last picot, double crochet, double crochet. There you go, chain 2 loosely, and you want another treble in the base of the 2 chain. So you've got 2 stitches, chain 1, and then jump over your picot, go into the middle, double crochet. So it's the one that's in the 1 chain space from the previous row, and put your group of 3 treble. And after every group of 3 treble, you want to chain 1. Jump over the picot, find the middle double crochet, the one in the chain space, and your group of 3 treble. Oops. And don't forget your chain 1. And you want to do that all the way along. And your picot will start popping out. This is the right side of your work. If you're new to crochet, you know you had a little tail at the beginning. Or a tail, that's the beginning row when you've got it on the left hand side. That's the beginning, sorry, the right hand side of your work. So go all the way along. I'll go just before the last picot and I'll meet you there and we'll finish off together. There you go, last picot. Don't forget your chain 1, 2 double crochet, 2 treble in the last double crochet of the row. You can see it's popping out the little picot from the previous row. Chain 1. This is row 4. You want 1 double crochet in the first treble, 1 double crochet in the second treble, 1 double crochet in the chain space, 1 double crochet in the next treble. In the middle of the treble, as you've done before, the picot, which is 1 double crochet, 3 chain, go back down to the same stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet in your next stitch, chain space, stitch of the next group of 3. In the middle we do our picot, and so on all the way to the other side. Sometimes I have done it, you know, the one after the picot, the treble after the picot. Sometimes if you're in a bit of a rush you can forget, but don't forget to put it in the chain space as well. I'll go all the way just to the last 3 treble there, the 3 group, and I'll meet you back there and we'll finish off together. There you go, gone to the last group of 3 treble. Do as you've done before. Picot, double crochet in the space, and then double crochet in the last 2. So that's including your turning chain. your turning chain is a stitch. That's row 4. Now row 5 is the last one of this pattern. Chain 2, loosely turn your work, and you see how there's 2 treble on that previous row, but the first row had 1, so we're just doing the chain 2, and then we're going to put the 3 treble in the first double crochet that sits in the chain space from the previous row. So you're just copying rows before. Like I say, this is row 5, and this is the last row that sets the pattern. Don't forget your chain 1 after your group of 3 treble, and you want to do that all the way along. Jump over your picot, find the middle treble, double crochet, 3 treble, 1 chain, all the way. Always gets knotted, this does. All the way to the end. I'll meet you at the picot, last picot, and we'll finish off together. To finish off this round, don't forget your chain 1, jump over the last picot, 3 treble in the double crochet that you put in the previous row in the space, the 1 chain space, and then you want 1 treble in your last double crochet, and that's the pattern done. You haven't finished the skirt, obviously, so here, get me hook, 1 2 3 4 5, so there's the first set done, like here. We don't count the first row, it's row 2 3 4 5, and when you finish on row 5 inclusive, you want to do what you've done 2 to 5, 4 rows, 3 more times, and that gives you the skirt length. And then we're going to do trebles. If at any point you get stuck, just pause the video, go back to each row, and but once you've got going, especially when you've done the next set, you won't need to look at the video. You'll just, oh yeah, I need 2 treble at the end, 1 treble at the end, and your pattern it comes along, because your picots will be on top. So at the minute your picots are slanted like that, but as you go higher up, the next one will be straight up at the top of it like that. So this is your right side of your work. You know, your beginning of your chain, the tail's on the left hand side, so this is the right side. A bit of a tip, if you're ever unsure, new to crochet, which is your right side and wrong side, I usually put a stitch marker on the front, always on the right side. I never put it on the wrong, I always put it on the right side. But with the picot sticking out, I'm sure you won't go wrong. So I'll meet you back after I've done the rest of the skirt. Don't forget to finish on row 5. And then we're changing hook size as well. We're going down to the 4mm. I'll see you there. There you go, you've done the skirt part. Change your hook to your 4mm. Also, I popped a stitch marker back at the beginning in the first chain space. If you've got a stitch marker, and all I'm doing that for is to remind me not to put a stitch in that chain space. You don't have to do it, but I recommend it, especially if you're new to crochet. That's the greatness of stitch markers. It reminds you, you think, why have I put that in there? What, you know, which side of the garment is the right side? The brilliant little things. Anyway, chain 2, that's your first stitch, your treble. Now some people may put 3 in, and I've found as I've gone crocheting, if I put 3 in on an end, more than not it always bulges out. It's just a little bit too much. So you could still put 3 in, but make them a bit tighter. But then when you come back to put your stitch in the top of it, you'll find your hook will not go in as easy. So me personally, I like 2 loose chain in the end of garments. Just a personal preference. So chain 2, 1 treble. Remember this is UK terminology. Double crochet in the US. 1 in each of your next 3 stitches. These next 3 rows are really easy. Excuse me. Now we're skipping the first chain space, and that's why I said to you to put a stitch marker in the last chain space, so you don't just go right to the end and then your stitch counts off. That's the only reason. And what you want to do now is, don't forget to skip that first space. 1 treble in each of the stitches and your chain spaces. You should have 87 trebles by the time you finish the other end. And remembering your chain 2 is your first treble. So I'll do that off camera because this is boring watching me do this. And I'll see you, whoops, I missed that. And I'll see you at the other end. There you go. Now double check your stitches that you've got 87 from beginning to end. Now the next 2 rows, all you need to do is chain 2 loosely and then 1 stitch in each. So you want 2 more rows plain treble crochet apart from the beginnings. I'll do mine off camera and then we're going to divide for the front and back. There you go, all 3 rows done. Chain 2, turn your work. You have the right side facing and we're working on the right side of the jacket. You're working on the next 19 stitches. You don't put a treble in the base of the chain 2 because that's your first treble. And then you want 1 treble in 15 stitches. So you've got 15 treble and your chain 2. Now you're going to do an decrease. How you do a treble decrease, do your treble as normal. Do your first yarn over, pull through, stop, yarn over as if you're going to do another treble. In the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through. So you've decreased, 2 stitches become 1. And then you want 1 treble in that last stitch. Now, I've seen patterns before where you decrease on the edge and it looks, for me personally, it looks unsightly, I don't like it. And then I got trying out different ways of doing it. And what I like to do now is do the decrease, whether it's on the front edge or the back. I like to do it on the inside. So the outside stitch is always 1 stitch, no matter what stitch it is. And the decrease is on the next stitches inside. So chain 2, turn your work. Now the front, I'll just show you on the jacket done, is straight, so up to so far. So the front edge is straight, and that's the front edge here. This is where the arm, underarm is going to be. So you want a gradual slope, and the front for so many rows is straight. So you're only decreasing on 1 edge. There's your first stitch, and then decrease over the next 2 stitches. 1 treble in the rest of the stitches. Chain 2, turn your work, you want to keep doing this kind of row so it's straight at the front and decrease in the arm where the arm is going to go, the sleeve, until you have 11 stitches, and I'll meet you back then. There you go, or you decrease 2, 4, 6, you should have 8 rows, 11 stitches left. Now we're going to make the front, because this is the wrong side, we're going to make the front edge here, just where the last button is. Now I chain 1, turn your work, and if you've done slip stitches you know how to do it, but if you haven't I'll show you. And the reason why I don't slip stitch in the first stitch, especially on the edge, is because I found it used to pucker up, but it were too tight. So I chain 1, ignore the first stitch, but count it as a first slip stitch. Go into the next stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, and then you pull it through the loop on your hook, and that's a slip stitch. In the next one, do the same, do it loose, take your time. Don't do it too tight, you don't want to pucker your work. You've done all that hard work, and then if you do it too tight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 2, treble in next 3 stitches, a decrease for the armhole, another sleeve where that's going, and then a treble in the 2 chain. Chain 2, turn your work, decrease 2 times, 1, 2, so that's 1 decrease, 2, put your treble in the last, in the chain 2, chain 2, turn your work, decrease over the middle 2 stitches, oops, and then put your last treble in your chain 2. Then take your scissors, give about 6 to 8 inches of a tail end so you can weave in later, yarn over and pull through, and that stops it coming out. And that's your, turn it over, that's your right side done, and your left will mirror that when I get to it. So we're going to do the back. We've done the front, worked on 19 stitches, went down to 3. We're missing 6 under the armpit, under the arm here, same on the left side. So I've popped a stitch marker in and I've attached my yarn with just knotting it on. Not double knot, but just 1 knot. That's how I like to do it. And then I will sew in the back. So ignore that, don't catch that. You see, you've got 2 loops. If you're new to crochet, there's 2 loops on a stitch. What I like to do with my tail, then it won't come out, is just catch one, whichever one I want to do. So I'll do the front one and just go looping like that. Make sure your tail goes to the back. Not that it matters, but because you can pull it through with a hook later on, and because you've got the right side facing at the moment. So I go little ways like that. Don't pull it too tight. So there's the yarn I'm going to use. There's the tail. I'll tuck it around the back. So you join, if you do other ways of joining, you do your way. Chain 2, first stitch. The next 2 stitches do the decrease. And you're working on 37 stitches. But at the end of this row we want 35. So you want 1 treble in each of your next stitches until you have 3 stitches left, like I said, at this side here. I counted 19 in, 6 for the under the arm, and I know that last one is my last treble, and the decrease is on the 2 there. So it's 31 trebles, 3 stitches left from my last stitch marker. So you decrease, decrease over the next one, and then your last one is a treble. So there you go, you have 35. I can take this out on that one. I've got 35 treble now, and you're going to work on those 35 treble. Now the next 10 rows, or as you've just done, and you want to decrease inside the last stitch and first stitch up to 11 rows. So you've done 1, you want 10 more rows, because that matches the amounts of rows for the front. So I'll do mine off camera, and then I'll start the left side with you, and we'll go from there. There you go, there's the back, 11 rows, 15 stitches. Leave yourself 6 to 8 inches so you can sew in and fasten off. Now to do that's the right side, close it together. To do the left side to match, you want to just reverse what you've done on the right side. Right side facing, miss 6 stitches for under the arm, join into the next stitch, fasten on however you like, and then work on those stitches as you've done for the first row of the right side. I'll do mine off camera, and then it's the sleeves. So don't make this video too long. I'm going to make it in 2 or 3 parts. This is the first one, the next one will be sleeves, and then I'm made with a button band in the third. Please consider subscribing so you won't miss the next part of this pretty coat. Catch you soon on another video. Bye for now.